Okay, so I heard y'all loud and clear. Y'all like that foolishness. Y'all like that it. Okay. Wrote a song about it. Like the here you go. So, this is probably year 2-ish again. Yeah, I would say year 2 broke me in real good, y'all. Year 2 broke me in. By the time I finished up my next last 2 years of being an RN, that year 3 and 4 wasn't that compared to 1 and 2. Y'all broke me in real good. I was a pro by the time year 3 came. So, I'm going to tell y'all the time about how I walked on the unit. Night shift. And it was a lot of rumblings from the old heads. And I don't mean old, once again, I mean seasoned. I didn't quite know what the rumblings was about. But once again, they said, hey, you want to go up to the 10th floor? I said, no problem. That's the lower acuity patients. Remember I told y'all that. The lower acuity patients on the 10th floor. I know that's country, floor, and not floor. I know. But I'm telling the story. I'm not trying to be proper. Alright? And the 4th floor is the higher acuity patients. So, I get up to the 10th floor, hear all the rumblings. Don't quite know what the rumblings are about, but then I find out. Because, hold on. A lot of the nurses didn't want this patient. The seasoned didn't want this patient because they were off. They were angry. And, I didn't quite know exactly what this person had done or the case yet. But I knew I heard some other people say, well, I don't want them. And because I don't know. Then I heard some other season go, I don't want her either. Now, if I have to take her, I take her, but And I'm like, well, what's going on? I said, once I found out what was going on, I agreed to take her, and that's how I ended up on the 10th floor that night. And I'm going to tell you all, it takes a lot for us to do that because ethically, we try to treat everybody equally and fairly. I really don't care what you have wrong with you, what's going on with you. Typically, we see just about everything, so there's really nothing going on that is usually so traumatic or mentally mind altering for us that we couldn't handle. But sometimes I think when in your particular profession you have had enough, maybe that week has been a lot for you with your patient population or your clients or your customers. Maybe it was things at home and you just can't. And then you ask your co-worker, your fellow co-workers, hey, if there's anybody else who can pick up this energy tonight, go ahead. If I have to, I will, and still do my job well. But I just really ain't feeling it. So I said, okay, I'll try to give my best. And the reason why I said that, because once again, I'm still a baby. I'm like 2.5 years in, and I'm very, very experienced with the medical part. Like, I'm very comfortable with being able to save your life. I had to get comfortable with uncomfortable situations because I told y'all before I had learned the art of bridling my tongue. The Lord had helped me with that, but I hadn't learned the art of this facial expression, and I knew that it was going to be a challenge for me, and I wanted to accept the challenge and give my fellow co-workers a break. So we find out from report that mom is positive and the father doesn't know. African American sister. So that particular night, I wasn't on the floor because sometimes when we were busy on that floor, when we had mamas and babies. Well, at that time, we had everything divided, where we wasn't taking care of the mamas and the babies together like normal, because it was kind of like a shortage of nurses. What we would do was divide it. We would have some of the nurses working on the mama side postpartum, and then we would have those of us working then, or you would go to the nursery. So this particular night, I said, well, I'll take the baby and the nurse, the mama and the baby. I just was handling the mama and the baby that night, because I needed to keep an eye on mom, because that was going to help me kind of have an idea of what I need to watch for in the baby. So the baby was in our nursery, and even though our baby is a well baby nursery, I told you this is a high acuity hospital, and our well baby nursery is sometimes what other hospitals will call a lower level ICU. so what they put in their regular ICU is in our well baby nursery, and now sick babies go to the real ICU nurses. And so that baby was on antibiotics, triple antibiotics, and we had this medication that we gave the babies in this syringe that was like AZT, which is a medication that you give to keep the T cells low so the virus doesn't show up in the bloodstream. But the pharmacy makes it super sweet and sugary, so when you give it to the babies, they'll just slurp it up because it tastes good. So I'm still new at this, and my preceptor, Miss Barbara was one of the nurses that trained me during my preceptorship, before I got off on my own. And I had a lot of love and respect for Miss Barbara. We actually became good friends like throughout my whole time, and even when I left, we were still good friends. So Miss Barbara told me, she said, hey, are you going to give that at the bedside? I said, well, you think I shouldn't? She said, well, I was just wondering, with the situation, are you going to give them, because it was time for the baby to get the AZT. And I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead on in the room. I'm going to shoot it down the baby's throat, and I'm going to walk out. Because I had given this medicine plenty times to babies before. And like I said, they love it so much that they pretty much suck the medicine out the syringe, and then you get to go on about your business. So I said, I think it'll be fine, Miss Barbara. She gave me the look like, okay, like, you on your own now. Handle it. So I go in the room, I see mom, I see dad, and that cute little baby girl, she just as cute as she could be with her little chunky self. I remember her. And I would proceed to take the medication out of my pocket, and I began to insert the syringe in the side of her jaw, because that's how you get babies to swallow without spitting things out. You put it in the side of their jaw, and then you slowly shoot it down their throat, and then they swallow it without spitting it out. So then dad says, what is that you're giving my baby? Now let me backtrack just for a second, because when I walk in, dad is pride and joy. Do you hear me? This little girl is his everything. You can tell that he in love. He want to know everything. He want to understand everything. Like he is a dad. You can tell. So as he sees me giving the baby this medicine, he says to me, what are you giving my baby? And I freeze. And I have to think real quick what I'm going to say, because a more experienced and seasoned nurse will probably know what to do, because they've been in this situation before, not me. So thank God, she straight out of her mouth said, oh boy, don't worry about that. That's something they give to all the babies. Leave her alone, let her do her job. Now while she talking, baby, when I tell you I am shooting this medicine down this baby's throat, because I'm trying to hurry up and get out of this room, because I know how it is when you're dealing with dads who want to know and understand everything. They're so engrossed in a good, positive way. And I didn't want him asking me any more questions. So I walked out the room, and I was like, oh, Lord Jesus, help me, Lord. Oh, Lord, I was out. They almost got me, Jesus. They almost got me. Because by law, we can't tell him anything. This is her personal health information. You all know it as HIPAA. We can't violate her confidentiality. It's up to her to tell that man her status, not us. And that's why some of the nurses were struggling so bad, because in our minds, this man over here positive more than likely and doesn't know it. Child. Later on, I go back in the room because I need to round on the mama and the baby, and I'm checking how often the baby poops and pees, and you know you got to do that count to make sure everything working. And so the dad is still asking me questions like, is she doing what she's supposed to do? Is she pooping like she was supposed to? Is she peeing? I was like, oh, Dad, she's good. She's good. Dad doesn't know that she's on antibiotics when she's in the nursery or anything. He think everything comes steady. So then Daddy dropped the bomb on me as he's over there talking about his pride and joy. He goes, yeah, because you know, with this one, you know, this one was a surprise, but she's such a joy because, you know, she's the first girl, and, you know, our baby boy, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Sir, this is you all's second child together? Oh, yeah, this is our second baby together. I said, how old is baby boy? Oh, he's 5. He was, I think he said around about 5. Once again, there go that face. Oh, congratulations then on this new girl. I'm sure, you know, the girl's a little different. You know, the girl, you know, I'm trying to think, you know, girls, they say they suckle you more than the boys. That heifer in the bed sees that I'm thrown. She sees it, y'all. And part of me discerned her energy with shame in that moment, because that heifer hadn't disclosed to us that there was another child involved with this man, and the child is 5 years old, which means that this man has been positive more likely than not for a minimum of 5 years, and she's on baby number 2 with him. I had to gather my composure, and I had to get out. I had to get out. I did. I had to get on out, and I had to get myself together. And I went back to the nursery, and I talked to my preceptor, the lady who had precepted me, Miss Barbara, and she just looked at me, and I said, I need to pray, because if I go back in that room right now, I am liable to cuss her completely out. I knew I wasn't going to violate her HIPAA, but the way that I wanted to treat that woman was why my other seasoned nurses let me take the lead and take her. Because what I was feeling in that moment is what they were already feeling. They didn't want to take the risk of being unprofessional and mistreating that woman. And it was taking everything in me to not want to punch her in her face. Because the only thing I could think about was, he's dying. And he's dying and he doesn't know it. He could have full-blown at this point, because, ma'am, you are getting treatment. The son has gotten treatment. The daughter is getting treatment, because nowadays our technology is so good. We start the babies on the stuff early. Everybody taking their medicines. There's no reason why the baby should end up positive. No reason. And the only thing I could think about was, this man is your support system. He is taking care of you, because I could tell from the way he was chit-chatting over there in that chair that he was the person that was really the true head of the household. Even though they weren't legally married, they was playing house. That man was providing for her and those children. And the only thing I could think about is, you're going to leave him to die? You're gonna leave you to be a single parent, because if he doesn't get the same type of medication that you and these babies have gotten, he's going to die and leave you a single mama. Like, at what point are you gonna tell this man that he needs to go to the doctor? Like, if you was gonna play this to the left, girl, you could have played it to the left and just told him to go to the doctor, get a checkup, which is why it's important that black men get your checkups. Because 9 times out of 10, black women gonna go. Even if they lazy at it, when they think something wrong with that cooter thing, they gonna go to the doctor. Men don't. And I just didn't know what to say. I just wanted to punch her in her face. And I had to go to a quiet place. And I had to go in the upper room for a minute, because I wanted to fight her. And I got myself together. And every time I knocked on the door and walked in that room, I walked in with a smile on my face. How we doing, mama? How we doing, daddy? How baby doing? Then he wanted to know questions like, why she wasn't breastfeeding. You know, isn't that healthier for the baby? It is, sir. You see, it is. Well, why are y'all giving my baby the bottle? Why she can't be breastfed? Daddy, that's up to mama. We can't make mamas breastfeed. That's mama's decision. I don't know what lie she told to get out of that. But I know that heifer was used to lying, because she came up with a lie so quick that gave me enough time to shoot that medicine down that baby's throat. And to a degree, it is a medicine that we give all babies who moms are positive. So to a degree, she wasn't lying when she said what she said. But I was glad she got me out of it, because honestly, I didn't know what I was going to say being a newbie. The moral of the story is, go to the doctor and get checked. The moral of the story is, how about before y'all start being intimate with people and sharing DNA and procreating, how about you go to the doctor and get everybody get checked? Because she really could have played him and told him to go to the doctor and get checked. And truthfully, he wouldn't have known who passed what to who, because neither one of them had gotten checked in the beginning. I don't know. The other moral to the story is, those of us who are healthcare professionals and are licensed by the state, most of us had to take some form of ethics and ethical classes. And thank God for the ethical classes, because they help you in those type of situations, and they help you understand the bigger picture. Because the bigger picture was not about how I felt. The bigger picture was not about the fact that this man was slowly dying. The bigger picture was, this was her private health information, and under no circumstances are we to divulge that information. And we also didn't want murder on our brains, on our minds. And these children had parents. These were these children's parents. These were minor babies. We didn't need that dad locked up and their mom dead, even though the reverse may happen down the line. Who knows? Maybe the mom would be locked up because the daddy dead. We don't have an ending to this story, because she was discharged, and she was discharged still telling that same old lie that she had been telling. I don't know what to tell y'all. Get checked. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Love, ain't no love that deep, because all that go clean out the door whenever you find out somebody is giving you something, especially it's something that is non-curable. How you feel about that for a story time?